Alright, y'all boys, we back with another solo leveling rise video, and today, as you can see, I'm here with my boy Huang Dong Soon, the brotherly duo. Who even is the other guy, the Huang Dong Suk or whatever his name is, bro? Who cares about that guy? Anyways, we're out here creating havoc and terror across the land. As you can see, nothing out of the ordinary, just the usual. But we're not here to talk about how powerful we are, together, but we're basically here to talk about actually another character. And basically, this is going to be a showcase yet again, right? But this time it's actually going to be a little bit different than what we normally do. And when I mean different, it's not actually too different. It's actually kind of the same formula, same basis, same system. But the character that we're going to actually be speaking of is going to be very different to other characters for various reasons. Now, the character I'm talking about is Heejin. This is actually going to be the very first ever SR showcase on the channel, right? I've done a bunch of SSRs previously, but I figured why not do an SR? I don't know a lot of people who have actually done SR showcases of characters, probably because they don't want to invest into them or whatever, and it takes a lot of resources. As you can see, I only have 16k gold, so you can bet it takes resources, right? But anyways, I just kind of decided one day maybe I should just do like an investment into one of the SR characters, because I know a lot of people in the community are actually quite curious if there's actually any SR characters that are worth investing into, if they're actually even any good at all, because the game does take quite a bit of resources, and you kind of have to use your resources sparingly, like, right? So I was just like, okay, well, if nobody else is gonna do it, then I will. So I did it. So here she is. I have her at max level. Well, max level of what we have currently in the game of the time of this recording, and I have an SR weapon. Keep in mind, when I do the showcase of this video, I do not have her SSR exclusive equipment because it's currently not obtainable in the game. But when it does, keep in mind that will probably bolster how much value she has than currently in this video, right? So I'm gonna be showcasing her basically at half of her maximum output because I'm missing her exclusive equipment. And of course, she'll be better when she has it, right? Naturally. So, anyways, let's get right into it. She's Wind Mage SR character, Heejin, character that you probably used in story if you've actually been playing the game, right? And you're kind of forced to use her. She's pretty standard, pretty straightforward, pretty basic, but she does a lot to her kit that actually makes her a very good character in the sub DPS scenario and even as a support. So let's get right into it. We're just going to talk about her skills, and then we'll go after later on into her artifacts and all that. And when we do get into that, I do apologize. I do not actually have a visual graphic for this character because normally I just borrow the one from Twitter from Arm Genesis, I believe his name was, and he's kind enough to let us use the visual graphics, but I believe he only does SSRs. So it is what it is. So SRs, just kind of bear with me. I will be just doing it raw like how I normally did at the beginning of the game, just talking about the character and what their best options are, rather than actually showing you, right? So now we're just going to go into the skills. Her passive is going to be very nice for her. All the dupes are going to be super extremely well for her. She's more of a character that, as you get more dupes, it adds more to her utility rather than adding more to her damage. But there is some that can actually add to her damage, right? But most of them is for utility. Now, basically, her passive is when the user uses Airball, Wind Shear, Air Cutter, or Wind Vortex, recovers power gauge by 8%. That's basically your skills, your ultimate, and I believe your QTE. And then it decreases the cooldown of Windstorm by 30%. Windstorm is your ultimate, so I just want to clarify that because you're going to be seeing that a lot as we go down the list of her dupes. Now, her first dupe, when Heejin uses Air Cutter, it removes debuffs from her and her party. So that's basically her second skill, right? It's very fast, very rapid. It has Purify, right? That's what it's called. It's called Purify, and it just removes debuffs. Her second dupe is when Heejin uses, decreases the cooldown of Windstorm by 10%. So that's good because Windstorm is her ult, so you kind of want to get her ult as fast as possible because basically most of her kit is going to be revolving around her ult. So now you're going to have more cooldown reduction on top of the cooldown reduction you have just by having the character, right? Now you have your third dupe. When Heejin uses Airball, Wind Shear, Air Cutter, or Wind Vortex, the team member's power gauges refill by 10%. So basically, she is a battery as well, right? So she's a battery, and she can remove debuffs. Already looking good, strong to a start, right? Now you have her fourth dupe. The damage of Windstorm increases by 30%. So basically, your ultimate damage is going to be even more damage, right? So that's going to be very good because, like I said, a lot of her dupes and a lot of her passive is basically doing more damage for her ult. So W right there. Now we're going to talk about her last dupe. Her last dupe is when battle starts, Heejin's power cost refills by 100%. So very similar to Big, except without the extra damage. She will start off in the battle with full 100% power gauge, which is actually really nice for her because as a sub DPS, instead of having her in your second slot, you can have her in your first slot and just use her ult straight away. But if you're using, let's say, like Min, then you use Min in your first slot, use your damage increase debuff on the enemy, and then just go straight into her, and you can just ult straight away on the first cycle. You don't even have to go to your second cycle to ult because she would just have it straight away, right? Anyways, that's basically her passives. Now we're just going to go through her basic attacks, basic skills, and their special skills. So now your basic attacks is pretty standard, nothing crazy. Her basic skills, nothing crazy either. They're all pretty standard. Majority of her kit is very standard. They don't do anything special aside from her support skill. So we're going to talk about her support skill and the uses for it. So now it's Wind Blade. So Wind Blade deals wind elemental damage. It recovers your team's power gauge by 15%. So basically, if you're using Sun Jin-woo, basically, because that's when you're going to use her, obviously, as a support. But even when you're using her for, like, let's say, Power of Destruction or for even Battlefield of Chaos, she's actually going to be really nice there because she's a full battery, too. She's regenerating your entire team's power gauge. On top of that, she applies Breeze to the enemy. So when she applies Breeze to the enemy, basically they take 15% ultimate skill damage, right? It says increases ultimate skill damage by 15%, but Breeze is... It's kind of weird how it's mentioned, right? But whenever I seen it, it always kind of seemed to be more of a application to the enemy. But I don't know how it would work at Battlefield Chaos. It might be a little bit different. But anyways, that's aside the point. Breeze is a nice bonus onto it where you'll increase ultimate skill damage by 15% for 20 seconds. Really nice. On top of that, her support skill also removes debuffs. So, like, if you're using Sun Jin-woo, or even when you're using, obviously, a team, like a full team in, like, Power of Destruction or Battlefield Chaos, she's going to be removing debuffs. So she's actually a really good cleanser. She's a good battery. She's a good sub DPS. She fills a lot of different criteria that are actually very good for a sub DPS kind of character, right? Now, we're going to get past that. We're going to talk about her other skills. Now, Wind Vortex, nothing special. QTE, you just swap in and you just do damage. I kind of wish that the QTE had Breeze effect application, just kind of like her support skill, because then when you go into her QTE skill, if she had Breeze, she would increase your ultimate skill damage by 15%, which would then also, give her more damage because she's based off of her ult. Now, we're going to get into her ult. Her ultimate skill, which is going to be like the main focus of her kit, is Windstorm. Heejin gathers the power of wind and summons a large typhoon. Does a lot of damage. It's very nice. This is going to be your main focus when you're trying to, play her, right? So now that we got past all the skills, right, and now you know that she's an old kind of spam character while regenning as a battery and also cleanser and a buffer in a sense for your ultimate skill damage, we're going to be talking about artifacts. Now, for artifacts, there's a couple different options, but of course, in my opinion, one hit kill is her best option because you're going to be focusing ultimate skill damage on her, right? Now, you don't necessarily need to go to the four set. You don't need the 4 set. You can actually kind of go with a half and half. You can go with a 2 and 2 because realistically, you only need the ultimate skill damage. Let me just be really clear with this, and let me just put it straight out there right now. If you have dupes in her, you probably don't need a full 4 piece of the one hit kill. You can get away with just using 2 and then using 2 of whatever other set you want to use, like the crit set or whatever. But if you have no dupes, I recommend using a full 4 set of this because then you'll actually get your ultimate skill cooldown quicker, right? But that's just my opinion, right? Like, I've done testing and everything. I'd probably still go the full 4 set because with her power gauge regen and then obviously having that really low cooldown, like, bro, you're gonna be spamming ultimates like crazy. So in my opinion, I'd still probably go 4 set, but you can rock a 2 and 2, right? As long as you have 2 1-hit kills, you're chilling. You can also go full 4 set for the crit set. That is completely fine. But I'll say it again, you can go 2 and 2 with the 1-hit kill. Now, accessories. The accessories are the Executioner. In my opinion, it's the best. It's the most flexible for almost any situation. She's sub DPS, so it's not too bad. I tried the Beast set. The Beast set is fine. Obviously, in shorter content, it's not going to be that good because it takes a while to ramp up. Obviously, for Battlefield Chaos and Power of Destruction, it's probably going to be better than the Executioner. But her best accessory set is going to be the Executioner. In my opinion, is going to be the best one overall. I've tested the other ones. Now we're just going to go into the artifacts and I'll show you each one. And then we'll go into the stat spread. 50% crit rate, a little bit too much than I need. Crit hit damage, very nice amount of crit hit damage, 180%, which is actually really nice. Defense pen, 16%. This is a lot more than I needed, but I mean, it's there. And then 8% damage increase, right? So overall, pretty good. The attack is a little bit low, but do keep in mind she does not have her exclusive equipment. I'll show you her exclusive equipment right here, just so if you haven't seen it. But it's really nice for her, and it's actually really strong for her. The only issue is that it's currently not out, right? So basically, if you were to get to 100, to level 100, you'd have 2,500 more attack, right? Naturally, that's going to be a little bit more than the actual SR weapon I'm using, so my attack's actually a little bit less than other characters by comparison, right? On top of that, I'm also not going to get the nice bonus of ultimate skill damage. And she also increases the ultimate skill damage of your entire team, by the way, too, with this. So she's a buffer, regen, regen like a battery, and a cleanser all in one, and does damage as some DPS. Really good, covering a lot of utility in a lot of situations. But yeah, I just wanted to make that clear that her attack is going to be a little bit lower, and her damage output it's going to look good, but it could be so much better if she had the exclusive equipment. So, anyways, we're done with that. We're just gonna go straight into the actual, we're gonna go into the field, right? And we're gonna actually show what she can do. So as usual, we're gonna go into the floor 25 as we've done with all the past showcases, because that's the easiest way to compare all the characters now that I've done it. But later on in the future, I do plan to upgrading to a higher difficulty once we get the new artifact sets, right? So let's get right into it. We're going to showcase her by herself, and then we're going to showcase her in the team. And for some DPSs, I don't really like to showcase them alone, because in most cases, they're not going to really shine because their main role is to be a sub DPS. And especially if they have utility, you kind of want to use them in the team scenario, right? But this is just to showcase their damage, right, by themselves without any additive effects or anything, just their own kit, right? So we're just going to did a nice 500k roughly. As you can see, I'm getting my ultimate very rapidly. That's why I run the four ultimate piece of the one hit kill set, because look at that. I'll have it back so fast. What the? Okay, bro. W game, I guess. It's the first time that's ever happened to me. And then I'll have ult again. And then we'll just ult once more. As you can see, you're just literally a monster just spamming ults. And it's like you just get it very rapidly, like for you and your entire team. Because she gives you 10% more power gauge every time you use a skill. And then obviously you're getting power gauge too as you're hitting the enemy with this skill. It's very, very nice. Very, very nice. Very nice. Anyways, that's your damage. Damage is pretty nice for free-to-play character, and SR character, especially without their exclusive equipment. And a little bit less stats too, because no exclusive equipment, the equipment that you're using is SR. Now we're going to use her in the team scenario, so we're just going to do the little basis that we always do for each video, which is basically an increased damage taken, a defense down character, and then obviously the main DPS character in question. Now, of course, she's really good in sub DPS. She has really nice synergy with Choi, especially if you run Choi on the ultimate set. So, like, if you run him on an ultimate, on the one-hit kill set, he's even better with Park Heejin, because Park Heejin just kind of restores your power gauge for your team, and Choi will be able to use his ultimate very frequently because of that. And it's just really nice. They have really nice synergy together. I'm not gonna lie, it's really good. But this is the showcase, not about him, it's about Park Heejin, so let's get right into it. I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. I'm starting to get really late, and I'm starting to trip over my words and stuff. But Yep, we're just gonna get right into it, and you're gonna see that you're gonna see the damage now. For a free-to-play character, it's really nice. Then we do this. Then we try to get our core attack off, so that way we can go into our QTE. And we dodge this, and then we just use ult because he still has defense down and the damage taken. As you can see, 2.6 mil from that one ult. One thing I do want to note when using the character is keep in mind when using her, since she's a rapid swap type of character, you want to use her second skill and then her first skill. So basically her E and then her Q, because her Q has a long animation time. So it's much better. It's much better if you use that last, because by then you'll be able to swap into your QTE and she'll continue to do that long ass animation while you're already onto your next character, right? So you'll see what I mean, right? So I'll go like this, and I'll go like this, and then while she's doing that long animation that you saw, you would be able to swap out in your character if you're obviously perfectly timing everything correct. Now let's get into the second rotation and see everything at the max potential of what she can do. So we'll do this. We'll use Min's ult. We'll go into Choi. We'll inflict defense down. We'll like this. Do this. Using skills once again. And then we'll swap into her once more. And then we use ult. I don't know how much damage that was, but all I know is it was a pretty hefty amount. Right? And then you just swap into Choi once again. And you can see his power gauge is already full, but his ult is still waiting for it. So that's why you kind of want to use an ultimate skill set if you're running her with him. And then boom, once again, you're just spamming ults. That's basically all you're doing. This is kind of like a different playstyle to other characters, where in other characters you would normally start off with your debuffer, then you would go into your other character who's also a debuffer or a breaker, and then you would go into your main DPS and do as much damage for the duration of the debuffs. But in her case, she's so fast and so rapid, like with how quick that she does her damage output, you just go into her, use her skills, and you just get out. So she's basically just like another Choi, except she's a buffer rather than a debuffer, right? If that makes sense, right? So basically, this is just Choi, but a Win Choi who's a buffer, right? A support utility kind of character, while Choi is more of a debuffer. Her damage is really nice. As you can see, I did 2.6 mil, right? On the first rotation. I wasn't able to see on the second rotation because for some reason it doesn't show me the total damage every time I go into the second rotation. On the first rotation, without Minnow, I did 2.6 mil, which is really nice. Overall, I think she's a very nice character, very strong. A lot of people probably don't give her credit because they don't know if it's worth investing into SRs, because, you know, it's one of those games where you just have to use your resources sparingly. Unfortunately for me, I did not do that, and I am only at 16k gold. I mean, it is what it is. It takes time to, you know, get these characters up and running. I do it for you guys. I do it for me mostly because I like the character. I played during the story. I was like, wow, she's fun. And then I tried her and she wasn't that good, and that's just because I didn't have her built enough. So I built her, and she's actually really good. Very good character. I actually think she's a very strong sub DPS. Probably one of the best DPSs. Sub DPSs. Obviously, there's not that many anyways, but I think she's really good, superb, very, very extraordinary. Just another Choi, but providing more supportive utility than debuffing utility, right? Anyways, that's basically going to be Park Heejin. First ever SR character that I've showcased on this channel. There's going to be more in the future. The next one will probably be Yu Jin-ho. But yeah, that's going to be it. You know, as Park Heejin, SR character, I'm very impressed, and I'm actually proud of this character. Exceeded my expectations when I actually built them, and I can't wait until they make those exclusive equipments obtainable, because then I could do so much more with her. I'll see you guys in the next one. I am so tired. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.